everybody. Welcome to the Exes podcast. I'm Scott.
I'm Therese.
And we are the Exes, and we're here to talk about all things that Exes love talking about, and that's relationships and murders. And and sometimes you get them both all in one story, which is always the fun one. But first of all, how you doing, Therese? Everything good up there in the great white north, which it was snowing last week?
Well, yeah, we had a little dusting. It wasn't a lot, but yeah, it was April, so it was annoying. We're good. We're getting ready for the big eclipse tomorrow.
You're going to see it from where you are.
Apparently we're supposed to have a lot of out-of-town people here.
Oh, what is the weather forecast for? Are you going to have clear skies? Do you know?
It looks like it would. The weather forecast was better today than it is going to be tomorrow. It looks cloudy, but who knows?
Oh, okay. Well, we don't get a shot of seeing anything here.
No.
Down in Florida. So, but it's taken this weird path from Texas, then across, then up into your area and up into Maine.
Yeah.
Stuff. But, I mean, what time is it supposed to happen?
3 something.
All right. And when is that? Tomorrow?
Yeah.
All right. Well, send me a picture if you.
Well, you're not supposed to look at it, so how am I going to take a picture?
Well, because you get your phone and you get it so that it's just below. Then you bring it up and you click.
We're supposed to be wearing these glasses that are like jet black.
Oh, you got them?
Yeah.
And,
I got glasses.
But you can't see anything.
I know.
You don't need the glasses. Just look at the sun. It's all fine, guys. I grew up as a kid looking at the sun and drinking out of hoses, and it didn't kill me.
But so not during an eclipse.
Yeah. Well, isn't the eclipse mean that you can't see the sun anymore?
Oh, yeah, but I guess it's dangerous. Listen, I'm no scientist. I don't understand the whole thing. I'm just doing what they tell me to do.
No, wear the glasses. But if you want to take a picture, you bring your camera up and you get it. So, I mean, you can look. You're not looking at the sun. You're looking at you bring it up until it's just starting to show up, and then turn your head away a little bit and bring it up a little bit and hit the button. That's just the easy way to do it.
All right. See what I can do.
All right. I lost my pen.
What do you need a pen for?
I take notes.
Oh, my God.
I take notes. And what time? So how long is that supposed to last anyway? Is it supposed to be a few minutes?
Like 3 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Not very long.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. I should be checking into my hotel right around then. So, but like I said, I don't get to see it. It's just, it's only a special.
There are currently no weather alerts.
Thank you. My Alexa decided to answer me while I was talking.
Alexa, shut up.
Alexa, shut up.
Oh.
I think Alexa got pissed at me.
Oh my gosh.
I got different names. I've got the Alexa in the kitchen, in the bedroom it's the Echo, in my office it's Ziggy.
Nice.
And so I walk in and say, Ziggy, play me my music. And Ziggy plays music. But I never thought I would have this stuff, but you become reliant on. You have one now, right?
I do not.
You do not have one.
No.
Don't you want one?
I don't think so. I don't really see. Well, I don't really have a need for it. I don't have like a radio in my kitchen. If I had like a radio maybe in my kitchen or something, I probably would like one. But
you don't need one because I just tell Alexa to play the channel. So I can say, Alexa, play 102.7 FM. Oh, see, now she's pissed because I said shut up.
Mad at you. But don't you have to have like an actual radio or something there?
All you need is internet for it.
Oh.
So
I don't have one.
What is your local radio station that you
I don't know. Actually, Legends. I listen to a lot, or the country station.
Yeah, so whatever channel it is, 102.7, whatever it is.
It's 102.7, I think is what it is, honestly.
Are you serious?
I think that's Legends. Yeah, it's like classic rock.
That's
I think that's what it is.
Wow, that's funny because down here 102.7 is The Beach, which is the one we all like to listen to. Anyway, hey, if anybody's out there joining in, thanks for joining us. And if you're watching a replay, thanks for watching the replay. Please like this and share it with your friends and leave comments for us. What we're going to talk about today, first thing we got to do is we got to get up to date with our favorite psychotic family, the Vallow Daybells. And there's a lot going on. just so you know, Chad Daybell has been charged with nothing yet. He's coming up on trial.
No, he's been charged. He's had to be charged.
No, I mean he's been charged, but he has not been found guilty of anything yet. It's
correct.
He's got charges and he's been sitting in jail with no parole or no bond.
Correct.
His wife, in quotes, because I'm not even sure about the legitimacy of their marriage, but to Lori Vallow Daybell, Lori has been tried and she has been convicted of the deaths of her 2 children and participating in the death of her now husband's wife. So she has been charged and essentially found guilty of either murder or conspiracy for murder, which carries a lot of the same things already. Now she's facing charges against the death of her husband before Chad, which was, what's his name? Charles. Mm-hmm. So she's facing that in another state.
Arizona.
And isn't there another one she's facing also?
Yeah, the attempted murder of Brandon, her nephew.
Right. And that was like a drive-by shooting kind of thing almost.
Yeah.
But so that's where they're at. She's already life in prison 3 times over.
Yeah.
All these other charges are really about just bringing justice to the family and closure and everything else. So we charge. But there is no death penalty on any table right now for her.
Correct.
Now, Chad Vallow, who is still facing charges of...
Chad Daybell.
That's what I said. Chad Daybell is still being held for charges of murdering his wife and murdering the 2 children, Lori's two children.
I think the 2 children are conspiracy, but yes,
right.
On trial for murder for his wife.
Murder for the wife and conspiracy if you get charged with full conspiracy, it carries, like 99% of the same punishment as murder itself. Yeah. So it's pretty close.
Yes.
So now has the death penalty been taken off, seeing as his trial started, essentially it started this past week because they started picking jury members. Mm-hmm. But is he facing a death penalty? Mm-hmm. He is.
Yes.
So to this time, they have not made a deal to take that off the table at all.
No.
Okay. What else do we know? I mean, has there been any issues or anything going on?
They did an extra day of jury selection, so they have something like 57 jurors right now.
Holy
Potential jurors. So Monday, they were expecting that they were going to start the preemptory strikes on Friday, but he brought in another group and added more. Because he said it's been a week now. What if, something happens over the weekend or in the course of that week, somebody loses a family member or an emergency or something, and now you're 4 short and now you've got to start over. So he's got these extras. So Monday, I guess they are supposed to be doing the preemptory strikes where each side gets to just say, I don't want them on the jury. I don't want them on the jury.
Oh, they don't do that during the selection? That's a separate process?
That's a separate process, yeah.
I did not know that. I thought that was all done at the same time when you're questioning or,
you question jurors, and then there's some that you don't even move on, right?
Okay,
so there's some that don't get invited back, yeah. And that now that they have, I think it's something like 57 people are all supposed to come back on Monday, and then each side gets like an even number of strikes. And so obviously the defense is going to take people off that they don't want on because they might help the prosecution. Prosecution is going to do the same, get the people off that might benefit the defense, right? And then they come down to 18 people.
Okay. And those 18, nine are the primary jury, and the other ones are the, what do you call it?
I believe it is 12 is going to be on the jury, and 6
12, 12.
Alternates.
Alternates, right.
Yes.
Right.
But they don't know who the alternate are until the trial is over, and they go back to deliberate.
So all 18 sit together.
Yes.
And they all watch it and they get the same information and everything. That's actually, I never thought of that. I thought they knew they were alternates.
In some states, I guess they do, but in Idaho, Well, this judge waits until, because he wants everyone to pay attention, everyone to get the full story. You never know when somebody might have to leave the jury and you have to be replaced. So he wants everyone. So he, like, once both the prosecution and the defense rest, they basically pick numbers out of a hat, and the first 6 numbers are the ones that were the alternates, and they can go home, and the rest are there to decide.
Wow. To sit through that, then not be able to make a judgment that's kind of interesting, you know?
Yeah.
I wonder if that's like, you know, son of a gun, you know, I did all this and now nothing.
There have been a couple. There is one juror who actually he ended up being an alternate, and he has written a book, which he won't release until after Chad's trial. But he's been on some of the podcasts that I watched and talking about just that fact that he was a little bit upset because he, you know, was all in and wanted to be there with the jurors, and he actually came back for the verdict to be read so he could be there and listen. And so he said it was disappointing.
All right, so he's in Idaho. Like I said, Lori Vallow-Daybell is in Colorado, I think, right?
Arizona.
Same thing, Arizona, Colorado. It's Arizona. I'm getting everything mixed up today. I've been trying to do too much. I've been painting too. Got my painting shirt on.
Oh,
but,
nice of you to dress up for us.
Yeah, I know. Well, you know, I kind of lost track of time too. I was getting everything done. I got to travel tomorrow, so I'm trying to do a lot of stuff all at once. But yeah, but she's in Arizona. No matter what happens in Arizona, she will go back to Idaho to complete her sentence there, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, like I said, for Arizona, it's just tying up loose ends on murders.
Yeah.
It's a shame you can't really punish somebody beyond a life sentence. What do you do? I mean, here's a question I have. This is ripe for a movie. This is. I mean, they've already done how many specials on this thing?
Yeah.
They've had the 2020 and the 60 minutes and the Dateline, of course. Dateline is always in on all murders. We know that.
Netflix had a documentary too.
Yeah, they had the documentary. I think it was called The Sins of My Mother or something like that. Sins of the Mother, which was actually quite good. And it really focused on, you know, her oldest son, who is like really destroyed by all of this.
Yeah.
But what if somebody really wanted to make like a real movie out of this thing? Are these people allowed to make money while they're in jail on movies and things? No. Okay. Because I know they used to. I know that's changed about victim rights, right?
Yeah. Yeah. If they are not allowed to make money off of the crime that they are convicted for.
Thank goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Thank goodness. I gotta wonder their little cult they had there. Do you remember the name of the thing? It was. I think the church was bigger, but their cult was like kind of this little. I mean, are people still rallying around these guys at all, or I mean,
well, I'm not sure because I think that it's gone kind of quiet, right?
Yeah.
But I've heard that there are still some supporters of Chad out there. People
really?
Still, yeah.
Well, it's a guy who was claimed to have come back from death. Well, I think more than once, a couple times, I do believe, and he's written books on it. I would think that the death sentence would probably be more advantageous for him than a life sentence. Because he's going to come back anyway. Apparently, he thinks so. I say we test the theory and we see.
That's what they believe, right?
Yeah. It's funny. Everybody believes that up until it's time to put up or shut up, and then
right.
You know, it's all good for selling books and getting people to give you money.
Yeah.
But so many lives destroyed. I mean, we're talking in that family alone, between murders and just strange deaths, we're talking maybe 6 people.
Let's see. The 2 kids, Charles, Alex, if you count Joe, so about 5 people, yeah.
And Tammy, you forgot Tammy.
Oh, Tammy.
6. Yeah. That's 6. Now, Joe was her first husband, or the husband before Charles.
Yes.
That was strange circumstances. So,
yes.
You know, now, didn't she have a sister who died as well?
She had a
unrestrained.
sister that died, years ago. Funny that Alex was the only one that was in town when his sister Stacy passed away.
Really?
Yes.
Alex,
Everybody else was on vacation.
Alex, who they've already kind of demonstrated that participated in the deaths of at least the 2 kids and possibly Tammy.
Yes.
Wow. And see, when something like that happens, you got to start looking way back. I mean, from the time Lori was like, the minute she popped out of the womb, I would have been looking at everybody she's ever met. Because some people, she could have been doing this shit in kindergarten. You don't know, making kids choke on Play-Doh or something.
I've been trying to get, a little bit more background and stuff before today. So I've been watching some of they're doing a lot of like catch up videos, before the trial starts. And the one guy from Court TV, he had a good point. He said the relationships for Lori, even from the very first one, are like fast and furious in the beginning. And then something happens and boom, she cuts him off, right? Because she got married 5 times. Jed was her 5th husband.
5th?
Yes. She got married the first time when she was like 18. And then
the same story.
Yeah, like hot and heavy, fast and furious in the beginning, and then short-lived, right? So if it had gone long enough, Chad probably would have been bumped off too. Eventually.
And that tells me that, she gets them under her control, and the minute they start to push back at all, she's done and moves on.
Which
but
was
she's always calling the shots. Always calling the shots.
Yeah. Which was what Charles, right? He was trying to get her help. He was trying to call the police. He was trying to get her to a mental hospital for a 72-hour hold.
Yeah. He was talking about getting her committed and also incompetent to deal with the children and, take the kids away. And, but she was also driven by money as well, looking for inheritances and stuff that was, she never really benefited financially from any of it. I don't think any of it ever really paid off for her.
Yeah. Sucks for her, huh?
Yeah, I know. It's really too bad. We ought to, when we sentence them, we ought to think, well, they didn't really get what they were trying to get. So,
I mean, I think that she had high hopes that she was the beneficiary of the $1 million life insurance, but
which was Charles's.
Yeah, but he said, no go. You're up to something. Gonna have my sister do it.
Yeah. And that was, what are you gonna do? You can't fight it. That looks awful suspicious.
Well, she didn't even know until she called.
Right.
After he died, right? She didn't even know. She didn't find out. Because they don't notify you of that. Oh, by the way, you've been taken out of the will.
So, little piece of advice: check the insurance before you kill somebody. All right. You could be wasting bullets and time and effort on nothing. So don't do it. So are we going to be seeing this on Court TV or something? Is this going to be televised? Are we aware?
Yes, there's a live stream, but it's court cameras. They won't allow any of the media to control cameras or the microphone. So it's going to be kind of crappy, but at least it's going to be live streamed.
Yeah. They've got to. They really should have a better AV guy, audio video guy working at these courthouses because they always get the worst freaking camera angles.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And it's like you get a piece of somebody's ear while they're talking or something like that. It's just get the good angles.
I know.
You can't show the jury. I get it.
Yeah. But
that's one side of the courtroom. The rest you should have looking good. But all right, so that'll probably be streaming on, like you'd have to probably go to YouTube channel for the court or something.
There's multiple channels that are going to be live streaming it as it goes on. Like East Idaho News live streams everything that happens in the courtroom.
So, all right, so that's coming up. And when do we see this starting? Is it
Tuesday?
Oh, as soon as the jury's done, they go right into it? They don't wait a couple days?
I don't think so. I mean, they did with Lori because they ended on a Friday morning, right?
Right.
This little tit for tat jury it's supposed to be short. They should already know who they don't want on the jury. They just go up, they call the numbers, people go, right? So it should be like less than 2 hours. So they don't think that, what everybody's saying online is they think that'll end at like noon because it's not starting till 10. But they think then that everybody's going to be released and then come back fresh Tuesday morning. Game on.
Wow. Any news on whether this is going to be a lengthy trial or a fast trial or anything?
They're projecting like 10 weeks.
That's kind of long.
Yeah.
Does anything that happened in Lori's trial, can they apply that to this, or does it have to be represented completely all over again?
No, well, I mean, it has to be represented, right? Because this jury is a new jury.
Right,
So
right.
they have to get all of them. But it is going to be some of the same evidence.
Well, yeah, I would imagine.
But I also am hoping that there's a little more evidence because so far we haven't heard anything about Chad's phone. We've heard about Lori's phone. We've heard about Alex's phone. We've heard about the Melanie's phones, right? All of the conversations, all the text messages, all of this. We haven't once heard anything about his unless it was them texting him or calling him.
Yeah, you're right. They really didn't bring that up. And I mean, certainly it could be. There was probably evidence that they held back.
I'm sure, yeah.
During Lori's trial that they said, this might help us here, but it'll definitely be more effective over there. But everything they've already used, now it loses a little bit of power because we've given the defense team, 2 years to play with that information.
Yeah, well, the defense
or a year.
person.
What?
The defense person.
Yeah, the defense, yeah.
He's one person.
Oh, that's all it is one?
It's still that same prior. He couldn't find anybody to help him.
That's never good.
He was doing a 10-week trial all by himself. That's a lot. That's a lot.
We don't see that very much anymore, especially on high-profile cases.
Yeah.
How about the prosecuting team? Is it the same team that prosecuted Lori?
2 of them are, and then there's 2 new people.
All right. So I'm just assuming they got to be going in feeling pretty good. Everything they wanted to do in the Lori Vallow trial was effective, and it worked, and she was guilty. So I got to imagine they're thinking Chad Daybell's going to be a walk in the park in some ways. Do you get that sense?
I think that they're pretty confident in what they have. Yeah.
All right.
I do.
Which is why I'm really surprised we have not seen any kind of plea bargain yet.
I'm surprised too, to be honest with you.
I mean, I haven't even heard whispers or rumors about a possible plea bargain. It's never been brought up, I don't think.
It's been, I guess it has been talked. There have been some talks.
Oh, okay.
But there's never been a serious thinking about, like, it's never come to where, we think he might, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, in Lori's case.
Sorry, that is a piece.
She came out of that thing still saying I did nothing wrong. Still talking about, Jesus knows. They know I love them. And that, she's still giving the appearance that she's crazy.
Yeah.
And I tend to buy it because, she was quite over the top. And usually when they use stories that are so ridiculous, it's not a sane act. Sane people would make up something that's a little more believable than what these crazy people do. But is it possible that they're both that crazy? I'm thinking, I know Lori has a lot of control over men. I get that. But Chad had his own thing to begin with. He wanted to be a guru of some kind, almost a god himself.
Yeah.
But is it possible that they're both that crazy?
I don't know. Are they both that delusional, maybe?
Yeah, that's what I'm
They
wondering.
really believe all of this? I don't know. I would think, though, one point is if they really believed it, right? So when the police came and Charles was dead on the floor and they brought her to the police station, why wouldn't she say, well, yes, my brother, of course he killed him because he was a zombie. He had to be killed. You right?
That's
really are, but she didn't do that. She lied and she covered up and she took off.
right.
So I don't know. It's hard for me to really believe that she's that delusional Because you'd think if she, like Gypsy Rose, right? When the police were questioning her, she was still, even though she had matured and kind of learned a few things, she knew some things were wrong, but she still was kind of in that mindset of, you know, being the sickly child, acting out this scenario until they told her, all right, stop the BS. We know the jig is up. But Lori's hasn't tried that. She never tried that.
That's always been my thing. And as we look at a lot of these cases where people are like, either some sort of delusion or some sort of insane story about why it's justified. But the thing is, if you kill somebody, then you hide evidence and you bury the body secretly. You do this, and if you truly believed it, there would not be a secret like that. It would be, I killed two guys. If some guy's breaking through the window of my house and I shoot him and I kill him, it's not like I'm take him out, I bury the body and I hide it. Then one day I get caught and find out, oh no, it was self-defense. Well, you lose that argument when you start covering up the crime.
Yeah.
There was no ritual also in most kind of those strange beliefs about, I'm going to say about zombies, witches, and all these different things. Let's just go there for a minute. Let's go full tilt bozo Halloween shit. There is also a ritual to the killing or to the slaying, let's say slaying of these demons. And there's a ritual to the burying of these demons. None of that we saw.
No.
It was just murdering people.
Yeah.
There was no ritualistic thing that was done. And that's where you would see, okay, there is a full delusion here. But we didn't see any of that. So
no, because
they're just hiding behind all of that.
Yeah, and all of the murders were different, right? They shot Charles, claimed self-defense. They smothered poor little JJ. Tylee, we don't even know, the poor girl. She may have been the closest to a ritual, but then they didn't do that path in the other two, so you can't really say. Right? You can't really say that. So I don't know. It's and then Tammy, who even knows? I think that she was asphyxiated too.
Did they identify her as being a zombie as well? Or has that statement not been made?
I don't think that statement was ever made.
Okay.
She was just supposed to have passed away by natural causes in her bed.
Yeah.
At 49.
Yeah. After a physically fit woman, more fit than we are. I mean, she was fit. Fit. And then, just.
And no autopsy.
Yeah, of course not. Why would you want one?
Right.
So this will be interesting. We got this starting this week, and
interesting.
If anything amazing happens, Therese and I, we're both really busy, but we could probably find a way to do a quick, even a 10-minute pop-up at some point and say, here's what's going on. Like if something really amazing happens, we'll find a way to do that. Either Therese will record something on the phone or I'll record something, then we'll release it or we'll do something just to keep people up. But this is going to be like a big part. We're going to be following this trial.
Mm-hmm.
Also, aren't we looking at the trial of the College Town murders pretty soon too?
No. Please.
Where have they moved that to now?
That's such a mess. Like next summer.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, it's a mess. There's all kinds of a mess. I can't even.
It's just, we talk about this like it's a release of a really good movie. Oh, they pushed the release date back so we don't get to be entertained.
I know, it's frustrating though, because, these are 4 young people that got murdered. And because of all these technicalities, this person that's going to be on trial gets to just hang out. And I mean, maybe he's not living the greatest life. He's in jail, but still.
Yeah.
He's not paying for his crime. He's not, but the family is missing all of these people, all these young 20-something-year-old kids who are just at the verge of starting their life, right?
And I think just there's no real. How are you supposed to reconcile that with any kind of reasoning about why that happened?
Right.
And you hope a trial. I mean, a trial, certainly you want to see punishment. But I think one of the biggest things we see when we have trials, especially for these kind of heinous crimes, is the family wants to know, why did it happen? If you tell me because the guy was crazy and he didn't get the mental help that they need or something like that, mental health, okay. I mean, it doesn't absolve them, and but at least there's a reason. Um, I'm not sure we get enough of that out of a lot of these criminal cases. We come out of that with they're guilty, but it still makes no sense why they did it.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think that's got to be, this college town. Now, apparently, this kid's got a history that would lead you to believe sounds like something he would do, right?
I guess, yeah.
I mean,
He's a bit odd.
he was
Bit of
odd,
he is odd, but he was also studying criminology.
right?
Weird.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
So now it's like, does the idea that you want to study criminology make you a suspect?
Really, right? I know.
Really hard to tell. But that'll be coming up again next year.
Yeah.
Tad Daybell. I'm not sure if there's any other crimes you've been looking at lately. Lately, there's just been a lot of just really random stuff going on.
Yeah, I was watching that missing kid in Nashville, but that turned out to be just an awful accident. Apparently.
Right.
So.
And we mentioned this on our last show, but we did see now we're going to see this trend of these mass shootings and things like that. We're going to see the family dragged into court. That if you know somebody is a danger and yet you allow them to either continue to be a danger or even worse, give them the materials to make them even more dangerous, they're going to charge you. And we've seen that with the shooter. The mom and the dad both charged with, I believe it's manslaughter, maybe, or whatever it was.
I think so. Negligent something?
Negligent homicide.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see it's reckless endangerment. I could definitely see that. I think it's a stretch to go to the homicide thing, but they're trying to prove the point, right? They're trying to prove the point that you can't let these kids, especially we're seeing these teenagers and late teenagers, they're the ones doing a lot of these crazy things. Of course, the Daybells and the Vallows, they're older, but with our kids, we got to really be careful, and it's a real concern. And you as a mom with you got grown daughters that are out living in, one of them's living in one of the biggest cities on the planet.
Yeah.
One of your daughters is off at college, and then the other one has a husband who's a first responder and a military guy. I mean, there's got to be worry. I don't want to bring this up too much, but there's got to be worry all the time just with all this insanity, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, especially now, right? You see all these TikTokers. I'm trying to find out whether his parents were actually charged with, but I can't. You see all these TikTokers saying they randomly are getting punched in the face in New York City, just walking down the street to their job, to shopping. I'm like, oh my God, Emily, don't walk down the street.
Now, the good news is violent crime has decreased. We the last 3 years, we have gotten lower and lower. In major cities, violent crime has gone down.
Really?
Yeah. It doesn't seem like it because, back when we were young and we were in high school and college and stuff, something bad happened, you'd have to catch the 6 o'clock news and hope that their reporters found out about it, or catch it in the paper the next day. Now, as soon as something happens, within minutes. The earthquake in New Jersey.
Yeah.
I got a text. It was it was less than a minute. It was over. Less than a minute later, I got a text from somebody who told me about the earthquake. We're that connected now. So we know we're hypersensitive because we know everything.
Yeah, maybe a little too much sometimes.
A little too much. But, my kids, Hillary and Dylan, both live in Connecticut, and they both felt the earthquake.
Yeah, Emily did too.
Oh, she's in New York City.
Yeah, she thought it was, at first she said that she thought it was, they were working on the air conditioning system in the building. So she thought it was that. But then she got some alerts on her phone and she's like, oh, I guess that's what that was.
Yeah. Have you ever felt an earthquake, Therese?
Yeah. In Syracuse, believe it or not. Not when I lived in California, but in Syracuse, yeah.
I do know that Syracuse has been hit a couple times. Not huge.
Not huge, no.
Yeah.
But enough that I remember this one. I was still a teenager because I was still living at home in my old bedroom, and Tom was across the hallway. And it was enough that I thought that he was like shaking the foot of my bed, just messing with me. And I yelled at him. I'm like, Tom, what are you doing? And he's like, wait, did you feel that? And he was across the room in his room. So that one was enough that we felt. And then the other one was when I was working in the hospital. And we thought we kind of felt something, but we weren't sure. So it was just kind of that, a little bit of a what's going on. And then it stopped, and then we found out. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, unless it goes on, most durations of earthquakes are only a few seconds long.
Yeah.
So, and you might only feel it at one point during those few seconds. But, so it's hard to tell. It's when you're near the epicenter and you could feel the whole 6 or 7 seconds the entire time. That's when you start to realize. They had video stores or shots of people in coffee shops in Lebanon, New Jersey, where the epicenter was. And I love, there's one video where everybody leaves the coffee shop and there's still one old guy just sitting there sipping his coffee like this.
He's like,
didn't even phase him.
I'm having my coffee.
He probably had tremors anyway or something. Who knows? Maybe he had.
Yeah, who knows? How much did the kids notice it?
They said it felt like 2 or 3 seconds. And they said it was substantial, but it wasn't like knocking stuff off walls. It was just like, it feels like somebody bumped up against the house and everything just kind of, jolted for a second. But again, the first thought is an earthquake. You would think, well, what the hell happened? Did somebody set off an explosion nearby or something? Or, could be a million different things. But anyway, I don't think anybody was seriously hurt. Thank God.
I don't think so either. Yeah.
But it was just kind of cool that happened. I mean, it's cool for us. I don't think it was a real damager. But, of course, then, some people start jumping on this thing. It was like, oh, it's the global warming. It's this and that. Earthquakes have always happened in the Northeast. It's just they're usually so small, nobody notices.
Mm-hmm.
And on the occasions that they're a little bit stronger, it's really not by much. Like you said, Syracuse has had earthquakes, middle of New York. But generally, you probably been through earthquakes a lot more than anybody believes because you just don't feel most of it.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. And then ones that you do are like years in between, right?
Yeah, exactly. But I wanted to move over to something else for a few.
Okay. You're scaring me now. Okay.
No.
I don't know if I'm ready for this.
We talk about murder and we talk about relationships and stuff like that. Where's our background? Let's give us a little beach there. No. Go back to the crime scene. Anyway. So anyway, we talk about the murders and we talk about the trials and we talk about different things, crime. And we always want to, if there's a crime you guys would like us to look into, let us know. Put it in the comments if there's something, I'm going to say I prefer not to do the school shootings because I don't want to give as much energy to that.
Yeah.
Because, that's something that's just, I can't wrap my head around it. It's pretty awful. But we also talk about relationship stuff. I mean, Therese and I were in relationships for quite a long time together. And then we became exes in the relationship, but not in the friendship. And that's important. It's important for people to know. The concept of being with somebody for a long, now, a lot of people have been divorced, right, Therese?
Yeah.
So do I. People have been together a long time. And all of a sudden when they leave, it's like, I hate everything about them. That doesn't even make sense, does it? No. There's pieces that are broken and pieces that don't work. But if you stayed with them that long, then obviously there was also good stuff. And we don't do any effort. Most people don't make any effort to save the good stuff or to do any of that. I know some, like I always applaud you and your ex, David, for finding a way past any differences you had to develop what I could be wrong, but I'm going to say develop a friendship and more importantly, a partnership in raising the children and
Yeah.
not letting that suffer because of the few things that were broken. I mean, was that easy, or was that something that, how did that happen for you?
That actually was not easy. That took about 3 years.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't immediate. I mean, there was a lot of hurt and bad feelings, anger in the beginning. It took about 3 years. And so for a while, for a good year, we only discussed anything that had to do with the kids, right?
Right.
And that was it. Anything that had to do with the kids, anything that didn't, we didn't discuss. And then slowly, just, as he got more comfortable with kind of taking on the parental responsibility of the girls when they were with him, because it took them a while. They were a little young when it started. Guys tend to be a little leery when the kids are little. So
especially girls.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, boys, you just, they fell down the stairs. So what? They're fine. You got a head. But girls, you got to worry about them. Yeah.
Yeah. So, as they got a little older, he got a little more involved. We were able, and then, they started sports. And so obviously I wanted to go see them play. He wanted to go see them play. So you're in the same space. I mean, what are you going to do? Ignore each other? So it eventually evolved into a good space.
Right. Right. I mean, you would say that's moved into a friendship now too, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Well, because obviously you guys, I mean, I know when you were even with me, he would call you, and sometimes it would be just a random question, maybe something about health or something or whatever. And the truth is, when I first started seeing you do that, I was like, no, this isn't right. You're supposed to hate each other, mortal enemies forever. But then I started to kind of vibe with what you were doing and understand it a little bit more. And thank God, because it would suck to not have your friendship, but it's so random that everybody just throws everything out.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that doesn't even make sense, because you take away some of the good stuff too. In every bad relationship, there had to be some good times. You can't tell me there's ever been a relationship that has been bad from the beginning to the end. It's not possible.
Right. Because why would you stay in that relationship, right?
Yeah. Why would you walk down the aisle with the person, for crying out loud?
Well, I mean, I guess people have. I mean, I do know some stories, and I guess people have, but it's not the norm at all. No, would think that there is some goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the norm.
And I think that some people can get closer to it when they do have to do co-parenting. Now, we don't have any children together.
Right.
So we really didn't really have a reason to talk.
No, we didn't. But other than the fact that you care about what happens with my kids, and I care about what happens with your kids, obviously. And, I spent a lot of time with your daughter. You spent a lot of time with my daughter. And then our older kids were just kind of like peripherals, but we still care. No, you're
peripheral.
Right. What?
Peripherals.
Yeah, the peripheral children, You just kind of see them off to the sides every once in a while and on holidays. But you're absolutely right, Therese. It would have been really easy for us to just shut it all off.
Yeah.
And it was extremely inconvenient, especially for you, to have to leave the house and go set yourself up again, not just across the street or across town, but across the country.
Yeah.
And you had to go through all that. So it would have been really easy to be angry and have a grudge on that. But there was, I think we went for a couple of months and it was strained. And then after that, we were pretty cool. So,
yeah.
But it was good. We also had the experience of kind of breaking up from the relationship into a friendship with you still staying in the house for a month and a half, 2 months.
Yeah.
And it really did kind of show that, the majority of the good stuff between us wasn't about that other stuff. It was about just being friends. So,
yeah.
And you're my friend, and it's all that really matters, So, but one of the things I want to talk about is I'm running into a lot of people that are getting broken up or divorced later in life. Later in life being like 45, 50 and beyond, right? And everybody, and I still meet people who are so desperate to be in a relationship. Now, would I like to have a relationship one day with somebody? And I don't know where it would go. I don't think I ever want to be married again or anything like that. But would I like to have somebody to like go on dates with and do stuff? Yeah, but I started to find all of the bonuses of being single actually make it so that, hey, if it happens, it happens, but I'm not desperate. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know,
Right there
like,
with you.
like number one, everything in this house is mine.
Yeah.
It's mine. You know, if something's sitting there, it's mine. If it's sitting over there, it's mine. If it's on the floor where it's not supposed to be, guess what? It's mine. Or my cats. My cat might drag something in, but
Oh, yeah.
I mean, not as much as, I mean, you and I, we blended our stuff pretty good, but isn't it nice to kind of look around and just everything is yours and where you want it and how you want it?
Yeah.
You know,
That's the thing, is that, everything kind of stays put except for Tara's room and the kitchen. But everything else is pretty good.
So now you still have a daughter that lives with you part-time between college.
She's here most of the time, though. She's online. Yeah, she's finishing her degree online. So.
Oh, okay. How much time for that?
I don't know. It depends. She's getting a little busier with work. She got a little promotion, so I think she might cut down her hours for online next semester.
Oh, okay.
So it might take her a little bit, but she's got one more year to get her degree, so she's going to get her degree.
Well, congratulations on a promotion to her. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Oh, before we go any further, real quick, some people know, some people don't. Your brother was ill for a while. How's Tom doing?
He's home.
Good.
He's doing well. The last I texted him, he said he was doing well. He showed me a picture of him getting his little medications already.
Okay.
So I'm very happy. I'm very relieved.
Yeah, it was a sudden thing. Usually if something sudden happens, there's one issue. But this was sudden emergency, and then 38 other things went wrong all at once.
Yeah.
I mean, this poor guy couldn't catch a break. It's like, oh, we dealt with this, but now we got this, and now we got this, and now we got this. But he's doing okay.
He's doing okay, yeah. He's doing okay. I'd like to go see him now that we can just sit by the pool and chit chat, so I'm trying to work that out.
Oh, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. And I'm organizing with the kids and everybody that we're going to be up in the Cuse in August to have a big barbecue out at the Hayden and Dolores Ranch. You're going to have to come out and join us for a day and have some fun. What do you say?
Yeah, that sounds fine. As long as it's not on Tara's birthday, because, she's turning 21.
Yeah, no, it won't be.
Okay.
I don't think so. We got all birthdays in August. My birthday, Dolores' birthday, Hillary's birthday.
Yeah.
Dolores. Okay, so another reason why it's, great to live on your own or to be single is you don't have to hide gifts in crazy places and try to hide shit from people. You could just put them wherever you want. But you got somebody in the house. You got to be careful sometimes.
Well, plus I have the grandchildren coming over sometimes. So, yes, I do still have to hide. Yeah.
Okay. If you buy something yummy for you, nobody's going to eat it all.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Your small spaces seem more roomy when you live by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need as big of a space, so that's always good. Valentine's Day costs less.
Yeah.
Of course, you probably bought the grandkids stuff, didn't you?
Well, yeah, but just little stuff.
Oh, okay. You don't have to remember any anniversaries. No in-laws to deal with.
Oh, sure.
Now this one, you can walk around naked whenever you want.
Yeah.
I still can't do that.
I don't either, honestly.
No, I mean, it's like you think in your head, if I want to walk to the kitchen and get a cup of coffee naked, I could. I'm still putting my robe on and doing all this stuff. And it's like, so that's one of those things. I think that's got to be your personality to walk around naked. It's not just opportunity.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay. See, the volume of the TV and the music you're playing is entirely up to you. You don't have to ask anybody else or worry about anybody else. You get to watch whatever movies you want. So you can watch your Lifetime movie networks, and I can watch my monster movies, and nobody even.
That's an I.
But yeah, I mean, there's so many things. Is there anything that you could think of that you found is like It's kind of cool. I mean, it doesn't mean you want to be single forever, but did you find some things that are cool?
Well, especially now that Coco is gone, right?
Yeah.
I used to still be in the mindset of, get right home after work because, Coco's been alone all day and I got to go let her out. But now Coco's not here. So now it's like, if I want to go and do some errands after work, nobody's looking for me, really.
Right.
Tara really doesn't. I mean, I might text her and say, I'm going to do some running around after work, but she really doesn't care.
Right.
So it's kind of like I don't really have to be anywhere at any certain time. I can kind of do what I want. I can say yes to invitations. I can say yes to babysitting. I can, work at night.
Yeah. Now, you just recently lost Coco, which, if people don't know, is your dog for 15 years, I think. This is what
almost 16.
Almost 16 years.
She would have been 16 the next month.
And in actuality, Coco was a pain in the ass, but a good dog all at the same time.
Yeah.
I always enjoyed Coco Kachubi.
Mm-hmm.
But so even after the dog was gone, that creates a whole different freedom, like you just talked about.
Yeah.
But how long did it take you to get through that through your head? Where, I mean, every time you leave work, you think, "Oh, I got to go home to the dog." How long did it take you to get used to that?
It did take a while to get used to that. It did. And then the first couple of times, like Jessica asked me to come over to her house, whether it was for like birthday cake or whatever, she'd be like, "Yeah, we'll just come straight from work." And I'd be like, oh yeah, I can.
Yeah.
I can bring clothes to work. I could just pop over after work because she, it's 5 minutes from my work, but 15 minutes from my house. So It does take a little bit to get used to. I still, every now and then, when I open the front door, come into my building, I kind of think I hear her sometimes. Because you know how she used to do that little, like, before she barked?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. So that's just, she's haunting you a little bit, I guess. Yeah, it was like when I used to come home, it took me almost 6 months, maybe a little longer, where I would come home after work and I would immediately just grab the doorknob and turn like maybe somebody's in the house. And it took me forever to get to the point where I'm like, get your key out because the door's not going to be open. And to get that through that feeling of walking through the door and looking to see who's home. And that took a little while for me to get over that, to get past that. But once I did, I started to have those experiences you had. It's like, oh, well, I got to work late. Oh, well, I got to work late. I don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a pretty good thing. And if you have to put yourself like work a little bit more or do something, you don't have to worry about it. You just do it.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so there's a lot of good reasons. These are kind of silly things, but if you think about what are the pain in the ass things in relationships, one of the pain in the ass things in relationships for, at least for me, was always like, well, I got to check to make sure everything's okay before I go do something, even if it's just a courtesy check. It's like I know it's okay to go do, but I got to do the check in, and now I don't have to worry about that. So that's kind of nice. But
yeah,
but,
dinners.
What?
Dinner. I don't really have to worry about dinner.
Oh yeah, you know what? If you don't want to eat, you don't eat.
No, if I want to have cereal, I have cereal.
Yeah. I come home. Some days I get home at 3:00 in the afternoon just because I trained all morning or something. It's not worth going enough. Other days I get home at 6, and I come home. And if I want to eat something at 3, I make it at 3 and I eat and then I'm done. Or if I want to wait until 8:00, I can make it at 8:00 and then I'm done. Now with my new diet, 8:00 is my cutoff, so I can't do that anymore.
Oh, okay.
I'm doing I can only eat between 4:00 or 2:00 and 8:00. I cannot eat after 8:00 at night or before 2:00 in the afternoon.
Is that intermittent fasting?
Yes, I'm trying it.
Okay.
I heard good things about it.
Okay.
People hardly ever die on it.
You know what? You know the way you're supposed to eat.
No, I don't.
More frequently, but smaller amounts. We're supposed to, we're designed to eat like 5 times a day, but not big meals.
No, we're supposed to be grazing.
Yeah.
Like other animals do.
Yeah.
You had a dog, I have a cat. The only reason they ate at certain times because that's when we put the food out. But with the cat, you put the food out and leave it there, and like every hour or so, he'll walk by, sit and eat a little bit, and then he'll move on. So I think the animal kingdom is about that. You're right. It's grazing and eating periodically throughout the day instead of just setting these. Who set breakfast, lunch, and dinner anyway? What the hell was that?
I don't know.
Who came up with that shit? You know, the cavemen didn't have that.
Right.
You know? It's like, better go out and get a brontosaurus egg. It's breakfast time. You know, they weren't doing that.
But I can see sometimes where you get busy. Like sometimes at work, like just the other day at work, it got to be like 10:40, and I bring breakfast with me. Right, I have coffee here. I bring like a yogurt and some granola or something with me to work, and I hadn't had my breakfast yet because I was busy. I didn't have a chance to like go and get it and that. So then I'm like, well, now what do I do? Do I wait and just have lunch just have lunch? Or do I eat my yogurt now and then I'm not going to be hungry for lunch? I don't know. And that happens to me like on my afternoons too sometimes. I'll do errands like when I get out early. I'll get home at like 2:30, 3 o'clock. Then be like, it's kind of late for lunch, kind of early for dinner. What do? I want a little something.
And why are we following these damn rules?
I know.
Damn rules. If I want breakfast, just because McDonald's stopped serving it at 11 doesn't mean I still can't have breakfast at 12.
Well, you can't at McDonald's.
Just not at a McDonald's. That's right. That's right. Yeah, that's a good point. It's so arbitrary how they came up with that, and it's really based on work schedule. 8, go to work, take a break during the middle of the day, eat lunch, go to work, then dinner time. Eat.
Yeah, that's what it seems like, right?
Yeah, but it was completely random. It's not based on science at all, because science will tell you that animals, which we are an animal, are designed to eat when they're hungry and not eat when they're not hungry. We will sit down and eat a meal even if we don't feel like eating because it's dinner time.
Yeah.
And that's something to think about. My problem is this: I can't do the little snacks all day because I cook big amounts of stuff. So I guess I could break them into smaller little packages.
Yeah.
Like little cubes of food that I just pop in every once in a while. We're at the end of our time.
That went quick.
That went real fast. But it's going to be exciting. Again, this week, we're going to be watching daily, getting the reports on what's going on with the Chad Daybell murder trial.
Yeah.
The Chad Daybell trial for him murdering his wife Tammy, his participation in the deaths of Kaylee and Kylie and JJ. That's, you know what?
Did you not do any homework for this?
I just keep forgetting. Oh, Heather, a friend of mine, she says, I love this union. Thank you, Heather.
Thank you.
You're awesome too. Heather, you're a big crime fan. I know we talked about it before. I don't know if your husband is or not, but you certainly could join us. Anytime you want to join us on one of our crime talks, you want to talk about something, you could come on and join us. She's fantastic. Heather spends her time putting together these boxes of gift boxes for people who are depressed and in
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just so unbelievably cool what she does, and so I'd love to highlight that certainly.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, these two are psychopaths. I hope you're talking about Daybells and Valos, not us.
Not us.
Although, you know what, we've been called worse. So
we have.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Everybody, please take a look. Free life box at Wonderful. That's Wonderful, not wonderful. Wonderful.com/lifebox. And this is for people who are in trouble or suffering, maybe thinking about suicide and stuff. It's just the coolest thing to get this box, and it's a box that really kind of resets your brain a little bit when you open it. There's so many things in there for you, so it's kind of cool. Heather, thank you.
What about is it only for like mental health?
I'm not sure. We'll definitely get her on, and we'll talk about this because you've dealt with mental health issues with family members and friends for a long time. Mm-hmm. And I've been dealing with mental health and addictions and other things, and we certainly know people that can use help. So She also things like cancer, depression.
Oh, okay.
So people who have been through the ringer, I guess. But we'll bring her on. Anxiety, addiction, suicide, loneliness. Yeah, they cover it all.
Oh, good.
They cover
Okay.
it all. But
Good
it's a
to know.
cool thing. And of course, abuse too, which is one of those things that doesn't get talked about enough, but that is happening out there daily.
Yeah. Tell me what it is again.
It's called wonderful.com. So it's WONDHERFUL.com at Lifebox.
Got it.
And Heather, we're going to have you on the show. We can pick a random time. We do pop-up shows all the time, and that's really the thing. But
we can even just talk about that.
Oh no, I'd make it the topic.
Yeah.
But we could give a little crime there because she loves that stuff too. So we'll throw some murder your way along with the healthy stuff.
Love the healthy stuff.
So everybody, watch out this week. Who knows when or Theresa and I might pop? I was like wonderful in my head now. Who knows when Theresa? Yeah. Who knows when Theresa and I are going to pop up and explain what's going on with the Chad Daybell trial, and we'll be watching. But for now, I want to thank everybody for joining us, and please again share this with your friends, leave some comments, and we'll see you next time. For now, I'm Scott.
I'm Therese.
Everybody have a good day. Take care.